Hey there, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Let me know as you're all coming into the room. Just let me know where you're all joining from. I'm in the UK, and yeah, just say hey. Hey, Stoke. Hey, Lorraine. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Stanley. Nice to see you all. Thanks for joining. We'll just wait a couple of minutes whilst people are joining, and then we'll get started with the workshop. Hope everyone's having a great day today. I can see you all flooding in. Thanks for dropping a hi in the chat, guys. Appreciated. Let's see who's joining. So we've got Ivo, Kerry, Andre, Carol, Maggie from South Carolina, Jody, South Dakota, Lauren from Canada, Jason, Carol, Nancy, Hal, Buzz, Caroline, Lorraine, Claudia, Vida, Han, or Han, Holly, Christine from Cornwall in the UK. I'm in Devon in the UK, Christine. So it's nice to have someone from the UK joining as well. Nice to see where all you guys are coming from. Graham from Scotland. Lots of you joining today. Fantastic. Really excited for this one. So whilst everyone's joining, I'm just going to drop a poll. I'm just going to publish a poll. And it's a super easy one. It's basically just, have you ever used a code snippet on your website before? Yes, no, or if you don't know what a code snippet is, just drop that in there as well. And that'll just let me know where you guys are in terms of your experience with customizing features in WordPress. Let's go back to the chat and just see. So I think I got to about here. So yeah, Claudia, Vida. Okay, yeah. So Jonathan, hey, from the US. Kevin from Cape Town. Steffi, Rick from Ohio. Camille from Belgium. Graham from Scotland. Yeah. So loads of people. Okay, so now everyone's joined. Let's get started with this workshop. So the workshop is basically how to add custom features to WordPress and ditch expensive plugins for good. And today we're going to solve one of the biggest headaches in WordPress, just adding features without spending hundreds on plugins or developers. My name's Ryan. I am part of the WP Beginner video team. And in this workshop, I'm going to show you how to take control of your site safely, profitably, and without writing complex code. It's actually going to be really simple with the ways that I'm going to be showing you how to do this. And I do not have a code background. I am very much like you guys. I own a few sites and things like that. And sometimes I just want to change some features on my site without actually having to use a plugin, or if I can help it, pay for a developer and things. So that's the way we're going to go in this workshop. If you like the sound of that, say yes in the chat right now, and we'll continue. Let's see if I get some yeses. Yeah. Okay, they're all coming through now. That's great. Love it. Love it. Okay, so I'm running this one by myself, guys. So I will be jumping in of doing the workshop and also looking at the chat as well. Apologies if I don't get to anything that you're saying. If anyone's got a bit of knowledge in the chat and they want to jump in and help other people out while they're asking questions whilst I'm doing the workshop, please go ahead and do that. There will be a Q&A at the end of this as well, where I'll try and answer as many questions as I possibly can in the time frame that we've got. And so for that, all I'd ask you to do is to pop your questions for the Q&A in the Q&A only section. You'll see it in the chat. There's two tabs. There's chat and there's Q&A only. So just pop them in the Q&A only section, and I'll be going through those at the end of the workshop. Yeah, so Also, in the chat, let me know who's done this before. Google a snippet of code, copy and paste it into the functions.php, and then crossed your fingers and prayed your site didn't break. So any of you that actually have used code snippets or know what they are, if you've done any of that, just let me know in the chat as well. Because that's the go-to method for a lot of us for years. And it's pretty fragile. Some of you might know, one typo in the code, or you copy and paste it wrong and things like that. Your site can break basically and be down. Cool. A lot of people have done that as well. Okay. Let's go on to. Okay, so even if your site doesn't break, that method of copying and pasting into the functions.php still kind of sucks. Basically, because you can end up with too many plugins doing tiny tasks. You're at risk of breaking things when you edit the file. And you can also end up paying for developers for simple fixes as well. And some of these fixes should take just about 2 minutes, really. So what we're going to do in this workshop is stick with me for the next 30 minutes, and you'll walk away with a system that can save money, save time, and also actually make you more revenue. And I'm going to go through that step by step. So we're going to be adding custom features safely. We're going to replace expensive plugins with one tool and turn snippets into money-making features. Now, before we dive in, where do you actually get code snippets? Because a lot of people, I think some people have Googled and things like that. Some people have said to go to ChatGPT. Those things can work. They can definitely work. But one thing I want to mention is obviously WP Beginner. We have a lot of articles about a lot of things in WordPress, and we do have some articles that are full of free code snippets that have tried and tested free code snippets within articles. And I'm just going to copy and paste those snippet resources in right now, so to the chat, so that you can see them. So there's 2 links there. They're kind of pasted together actually, but there's 2 links there. You can go to the WP Beginner website and check out those articles, which are full of really useful code snippets, completely for free, that you can try on your site, and you can follow along in this workshop as well. And I'll also share a bunch of other great resources and sources at the end of this workshop, and so that you can basically build up a library of code snippets that actually saves you money. Okay, so let's bring this to life with a real example and something practical. Let's say you want to add a floating bar to the top of your site, something like free shipping on orders over $50, sorry, or 20% off this weekend. It sounds simple, but if you do this manually, well, let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what exactly we're going to do. So for adding code snippets manually, normally you'd log into your WordPress dashboard on your site. You navigate to your functions.php file if you can find it. If you can't see it in your WordPress dashboard, then you might need to access your site by FTP. We do have videos and articles on WP Beginner as well to how to do that if you want to do that. And then you add the code to the bottom of the file and then update. And then hopefully everything will work. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump into my demo site dashboard. I am just going to widen this out a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see that and that looks good to you. Okay, so I'm going to copy the code that I need for this, and I will provide this document as well with all the code snippets in that I'm using in this video at the end of the workshop as well. So to find your theme file editor, you go to Appearance, Theme File Editor right there. And then you're going to get this little warning saying that basically if you make any changes, just be heads up of that. Then we're going to go to over here to the right hand side and we're going to click on functions.php. Then we're going to scroll down to the bottom. We're going to make some space below that, and then we're just going to paste in our code snippet. And this code snippet is for a floating bar. Then I'm just going to click on Update File. Sorry, one sec. I think I copied that wrong. This is live testing. Let me just do that again. So this even shows you the problem with pasting it in. Right, let's just. Okay, so now we've pasted that in and that's correct. I should now see, if I go to the front end of my site, a floating bar, and I don't. Okay, so that's a speed bump, and I definitely tested this out earlier, so I don't understand quite what's happened there. I am just going to check my code. Bear with me. Sorry a sec, guys. I am just going to check my code to sorry, I do apologize about this. Let me just see if this works now. Sorry. I don't know why. I've copied the wrong code in, that's why. Some people probably spotted that. Okay. I've got my code mixed up on that, so I'm going to abandon that part. I'm really sorry, guys. That was not what I was expecting. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. I do apologize about that. Yeah, so sorry, guys. I am checking the chat. Yeah. So I think what's happened there is actually the code that I had is a bit mixed up. So I'm going to move on with the actual slide. Yeah, that demonstrates adding to functions PHP basically. But I did test it earlier and it did work. So I don't know why I quite know what's happened with my code in between now and then. But we will go on. So adding a floating bar, that was the live demo. Didn't quite work out as planned. So I do apologize about that. So what could go wrong? Well, update your theme and code disappears basically. And you also can tweak design and something breaks. You've got no revision history. So if you lose previous versions, so, copying and pasting code in there and then something doesn't work and then you go back in to fix it and then you don't have the original and things like that. And you can kind of see all of that with the example that I gave you. You're going into a file and basically pasting in code. And if it's not quite right, then you'll get a warning, or also you can get things where it breaks your site, especially if you're using the FTP side of things as well. And one tiny mistake can bring down the site. Okay, so it's a really messy way of actually adding code to your site. So the cost of doing it yourself, it basically means that you've got, if something happens to your site, you can then end up paying a developer to undo the damage that's been done to the site, go in, fix the code, or worse, your site's down during a sale or something like that, and you could lose revenue. And also, you've got a lot of hours of work that you might have put into, finding that specific finding that specific code snippet, making sure that it's something that's going to work, and then pasting it in as well. So you basically, to fix all that, you're going to be spending a lot more hours and time on that with that particular method. Now, instead of dropping a code directly into your theme's function.php, like I showed you there, which didn't quite work, sorry, which is risky, as you can see, and it can basically gets wiped out on updates. So when a theme's updated, sorry, I didn't go over that actually, but when your theme is actually updated or you change theme, all that disappears. Anything that you put into that functions.php file will actually disappear. So there are two much better options. Option one, you can create a site-specific plugin, and I'll link a tutorial in the chat for doing that as well. I'll do that a bit later on towards the end of the Q&A. So creating a site-specific plugin is basically you coding a plugin yourself in a very simple way, creating a plugin that can then be used to add code snippets to your site. And I can imagine a lot of people probably don't have the time or the bandwidth to actually do that themselves. And yeah, get into coding. If you love doing something like that, then definitely I'll share that article with you, and you can definitely get into it and do it. Or option two, and this is the one that I would recommend for most people, is to use a code snippet plugin from the WordPress plugin directory. These let you safely manage your snippets without touching theme files, and it makes it super easy, just like using any other plugin. And actually, the one we actually recommend is WP Code, because it's free to get to add to your site, and it's designed by understanding the concerns of WP beginner users. So it comes with a ton of amazing features built specifically for you. So I'll just add in the link to the WP beginner light version. And if anyone's used WP Code, let us know in the chat as well. Okay, and okay, so let's do something together. So for this, I'm going to show you how to install WP Code, super easy to do. And we're going to look at adding a custom message and logo to the login screen. And this will normally cost around about $50 plus, depending on where you are in the world, because I will share some ideas of costs and things like that. So my disclaimer for this is, depending on where you are in the world, this would vary, obviously, but would normally cost $50 plus. I'll show you those kind of figures a bit later to outsource. And we can do this in 2 minutes with WP Code. Super easy to do. So back to the demo side of things, and I will share my screen again. And hopefully I've got better luck with demonstration. So hopefully everyone can see that. Now you will see that I've got code snippets here already installed on this site. To install code, WP Code, all you need to do is go to plugins over here, click on that, install, click on add plugin, sorry, and then click on search, the search bar for search plugins and WP Code. I'll bring up WP Code right there. I've got it already installed on here. I've also got the Pro version installed as well, but the light version is going to work with the method I'm going to show you. So once it's installed on your site, you'll see it here at Code Snippets in the sidebar on the left. Just click on that. And then we're going to add a new code snippet. And you'll see that there are, with the WP Code setup, that you just get all your code snippets in a list here. So you've got great overview of the code snippets on your site. I'm just going to turn these ones off from testing. Or maybe not. And anyway, so basically to add a new snippet, you're just going to click on add new. And then this brings you up to the WP Code snippet library. Now you can get access to this library completely for free. All you got to do is click the little banner that comes up to basically say connect to the WP Code snippets library. And you'll get up to 142 code snippets that you've got access to. And it's just basically a library of snippet templates, all fully tested, as you can see, the banner's right here. And you can start using them on the site. So you can search for them using the search bar, or if you're adding your own code snippet, you can click on the add code snippet button right here. And then you'll get this step, which is where you can select the type of snippet that you're adding to your site. So you can use HTML, text snippet, block snippet, CSS snippet, and PHP snippet. If you don't know what some of these are, then I will be sharing access to a free video course on WP Code where we cover all these things at the end of the video, at the end of this workshop as well. So I'm just going to click on the PHP snippet right here because that's what we're going to be adding in. Then I'm going to copy my code for my custom login message. Okay, and now the first thing to do is to give it a title. So custom login. Okay, so once I've given it a title, you can then add the code in here. So yes, in the code preview section, just paste in your code. And if there's any errors in the code, WP Code would also tell you as well, which is fantastic. I'm just going to make sure I insert it all over, basically auto insert. So insertion is basically where you can put it on your site. So for most of the time, some of these you can auto insert it to run everywhere, but then there are other other places, other locations that you can use. As I've got the Pro version, some of these would not be available in the Lite version, but it is a fantastic thing to be able to do, to actually insert the code wherever you are, wherever you want on your site. So now we've added that in, there are more options. So you can choose device type, smart conditional logic, and code revisions. Those are with the Pro version of WP Code. But all essentially you have to do is title, paste in your snippet, and then click Save Snippet. And then once that's saved, you click on the active toggle right here, and that will now activate that snippet on your site. And if anything else was to go wrong, or there was something wrong with the code snippet itself and it doesn't look right, then you could just toggle that off, click update, and that's disabled that code snippet on your site. There's no going into the functions.php and trying to find the code snippet and then deleting it and things like that. It's super easy to turn them on and turn them off. Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll switch to another screen so you can see. I was going to show you I was actually going to show you the demonstration, but I've got it in incognito tab, and it actually doesn't let me do that on the workshop software. So I will stop doing that right now, and we can move on to the next slide. So actually, I can show you. let me just, hopefully, if I log out of my I want to show you that one actually working on the site. Okay, so let me share the screen again. Okay, so now with this snippet, so with the custom login snippet that I've added in right here, what that's doing is basically it's going to give on your login screen, so where you would log in for your dashboard and things like that, you can add a custom message, and you can also change the logo. So the custom message is basically up here, so it says welcome back, please log in below, and then below that you can also add in a logo from your site as well, and the background image basically is the logo right here. I'm on a local host base. I'm on local at the moment for my WordPress site, so that's why you see that. But then basically you can add in the URL of any of your logos or anything there as well. Click on update. Oh, it doesn't seem like that it wants to do that, but basically this is what you see with the logo right there. Okay, so I'm just going to figure out what's wrong with my setup right now. So let's just open that up. I do apologize. Doesn't usually work like this. Usually very smooth. So I'm not sure what's happened to my setup. Okay, let's just continue with this. And if anyone has got any questions in the chat. Okay, so let's continue with, okay. So with what I've showed you just there, so as you can see, I've added the code snippet to the WP code. For some reason, I think I might have missed something when I was doing, or I clicked on too many buttons, probably. So basically, that is a super easy way of actually adding code snippets to the site, and I can actually show you that basically the site's completely fine on after that that error message as well. So this just shows you the power of WP code actually, you know, being able to turn things on and off as well. And your site's completely fine, nothing wrong with that. And you can remove any of the snippets that you want to, or turn them off. So, okay. With the method I just showed you, the real savings with WP code are basically, for what I just showed you, a rough valuation is adding a header script, probably a $50 to $100 developer cost, custom login tweak, $50, insert CSS to make it look nice and things like that, $50. So you can save over $100+ with on just the first few tweaks with WP Code Lite. Now, WP Code Lite already solves a massive problem. It replaces risky code editing and gives you a clean, safe place to manage snippets. That alone is a huge win in my book. But what happens when your site grows? As soon as your business code grows, you'll want things like snippets that only run in specific pages, like I mentioned, conditional logic and things like that. Version control, so you can safely experiment and see when people change a snippet or when a snippet was updated, and also go back or revert to a certain version of a snippet that was working. Maybe you made an update to a snippet or changed something and then something didn't quite work. Also, role-based rules as well for logged in users or anyone. So you can make the snippet show for someone that is a subscriber, a member at a certain level, a type of customer, any kind of custom users that you want. You can also insert tracking pixels and things like that. And you can also have the ability to reuse everything across multiple sites using, you probably want to be able to use things across multiple sites using a cloud library. And something that you might want access to as well is 2,000+ tested code snippets. Now, these things are not just nice to have, they're actually necessary for running e-commerce, membership, or anything custom on your site. And that's when this is where most people go looking for more plugins, because they want those conditional logic and things like that. And more plugins mean more tools and or a developer cost as well. But what if you didn't need any of that? What if you could use just one plugin that replaces 6 or 7 different premium plugins without the bloat, without all the unnecessary features, and with full customization. Would you use it? Let me know in the chat if that sounds good to you. Okay, Diego, yeah. So did I miss something, Diego? Apologies if I did. Yeah, I was copying and pasting code snippet in there, and I might have, whilst I'm doing this, trying to run multiple things, I might have missed something in the demonstration, but the code does actually work. So I did test it earlier, and this is live, so I do apologize if I did anything that's quite obvious. Cool. Okay. So that's exactly what WP Code Pro is. And you saw it on my site. And it takes everything you love about the light version. So WP Code Lite comes with lots and lots of functionality, amazing features for someone that, you know, just getting started with it or just wants to add code snippets and things like that. But all those things that I talked about and being able to replace actual real plugins, that comes with WP Code Pro. Because basically code snippets are like your superpower for WordPress, and WP Code Pro supercharges the light version. Basically, it's built for site owners who want the power and flexibility without needing to write code from scratch or hire developers. So with WP Code Pro, you unlock smart conditional logic, a full cloud library of snippets with over 2,000 pre-built snippets. And I'll actually show you what that looks like at the end of this workshop as well. I'll show you the cloud library, and role-based control and safe version control as well, so that you can see what's happened and go back to the version that was the best for you or for your site. Okay, so let's do some demos with this right now, and hopefully, fingers crossed, these work. But let's say you run ads on Google, Meta, TikTok, and you want your pixel to fire only when someone reaches checkout. If you fire too early, you waste money on false signals and you miss the sale. If you fire too late, if with WP Code you can set condition to only fire this on checkout page, and you're done. And also, WP Code Pro actually comes with an add-on for conversions as well. So now we'll show you how to add a Facebook tracking pixel using WP Code. This can be any kind of tracking pixel. I'm basically demonstrating just adding the code and then setting in condition to run on checkout. And you can turn the pixel on and off easily. And I'll be using very basic code for this. You can actually find these on WP Beginner and also in other resources as well. So let's go back to site. Just going to share my screen again. So hopefully you can see the site. And Okay, so now we're back on WP Code, and from here we can just go add new. And well, actually, let's just show you this. So conversion pixels. So you can actually install a conversion pixels add-on within WP Code Pro. And this is where you've got things like Facebook, Google, Pinterest, TikTok, Snapchat, click tracking, things like that. It also comes with a link to WP Consent as well, which is a fantastic cookie banner plugin for WordPress. So yeah, definitely use that. But if you just want to add a tracking pixel to your site without using this, then you can go to add snippet, add custom snippet. You use the PHP snippet. No, I'm not going to use the PHP snippet actually. I'm going to use the HTML snippet. And in here, we can add in the title for tracking pixel. In the code preview, you can just paste in your script, and then you want to add it into in insertion. You can auto insert and site wide header. I'll put it in the footer. And then below that, if you come down to smart conditional logic, click on enable logic, and then under conditions, you can choose whether to show or hide this code. And so we're going to show, and then we're going to add a new group. And in this group, this is where we define where or when or who sees this tracking pixel. So on the first option, we're going to click on there, and now you can see the conditions that we can put in. So basically, we've got who, visitor, where, page, e-commerce, and advanced. So for this, we want this to show on checkout page. So we would click in to page, and then we can either choose a page or we can put the page URL. For this example, I'm just showing an example. It might be set up differently on your website, but you can click on page URL, for instance, and you can just say page URL, and then the next option is contains, doesn't contains, is or is not. So we'll say contains, and then just put checkout, for example. And then that is the condition set for that tracking script up there. Obviously, you would edit all this to make sure that it is correct. And we'll give you an example, a real example at the end of this video as well. I'll give you access to all these snippets, working snippets, at the end of this workshop. But yeah, so essentially for any script up here or any code, we can insert it wherever we want, and then we can give it conditions to basically say that it is now going to show just on the checkout or fire just on the checkout. And then once you've done that, just click on save snippet. Then once you're happy with it, you just click active, and then it's active on the site, and it will start collecting that data or for Facebook basically. And if you want to turn it off, like I said before, you can just inactive, update, and that's turned off on the site as well. Okay, so it's quite hard to hop between presentation and screen sharing, making sure I cover everything, but hopefully that's covered that for everyone. So when you're adding pixels and things like that to your site, what does this actually mean for you? Well, you can track real buyers and understand which ads are performing best. So what you're using, Google, Meta, TikTok, basically by understanding which ads are performing best and capturing that data at the checkout, that's going to inform you on which ads are working, which ads aren't working, which means you can reduce waste on ad spend, so there's no false triggers. And with this method that I just showed you, adding a pixel in or using the conversion add-on in WP Code can save you $100+ in developer time, and means you can make money. And with that method of understanding which ads are performing better for you, you can make more money from the existing traffic you have, because you can just dig more into that. Now, so the real savings, and I'm just, like I said before, these are general. I've tried to do a bit of research on these and find out what kind of things would cost and things like that. But if you were to do this with a plugin, it would cost you around $49 to $99. With WP Code, $0. And this gives you higher return on investment on your ads, so because you've got better data. Fixing a broken site, if you were to do it wrong, is $100+ for developer site, for developer, which is avoided entirely. And turning it off, so if you needed to turn it off, like that little switch I showed you in WP Code, roughly a developer will charge you probably an hour's rate or something like that, a minimum, so $50, shall we say. And the cost in WP Code is nothing. You get that within the light version anyway, and you completely control it. You can just do it through your dashboard. So roughly, you can save around $200+ and coding headaches, basically, and you get your streamlined ad performance. So now let's boost. So now let's look at this. This is quite interesting. I find this one amazing, that you can get this within. You can do this within WP Code. So let's boost your average order value. So say you want to show a free shipping on orders above $50 banner, but only when the cart is a certain amount. So you want to show this banner only when the cart is above 50. Oh, sorry. So you want to show this basically when the cart is under $50. So you want to increase those order values. This is smart because it nudges customers to spend more. And in WP Code Pro, it's actually a couple of clicks. So what we can do with this is we can boost your average orders value. You can only show it if the cart total is more than, that should be under, actually, only show it if the cart total is under $50 and there's no developer or plugin needed. And it's really easy to tweak this in WP Code. So what I'll show you now is to add a free shipping banner using WP Code. Set a visibility condition so it only runs on the cart or checkout pages. I believe it's the cart page that we're doing this on. And add logic to it so it only shows when the cart is over $50, which is actually already in the code. And you can also change the text and color easily. Okay, so let's bring up the site. Sorry, let me just sort this out. Okay, let's jump into the dashboard. So hopefully everyone can see that. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show you this in action. So that's what I just checked, that I made sure that I've got this already set up because I know everyone's time is precious. So I'm going to go to, so I've placed a item in my shopping cart from the store. I'm just going to click on View Cart. And now we can see that this banner right here, you can see it's highlighted, it's a certain color, it's got, we can change all that. and it actually is calculated based on the item that is in the cart right now. So you're only $35 away from free shipping. So all that hooked up so that you can actually encourage people to add more to the cart. So if we go back over here to the dashboard and I come down to code snippets. Now these snippets I've actually I've added them beforehand so that they're, because I know what live actual workshops are like. So we've got the free shipping banner when cart total is below 50 already here. So if you've got any code snippets already in this list, to edit them or view them, just click on the name itself. And we can see that we're using a PHP snippet here. And just like anything, just like before, and just like the option you got at the start when you created a code snippet, if you actually, for some reason, selected the wrong one, you can actually click on the drop down here and then change it as well. That's a really handy feature to have in WP Code. But yeah, it's got a title. This is the code here within the code preview. And we can see right here that if we go further on down, we can see that we've got some stylings for the color and things like that. So that can be edited. And the text is right here that we can change. Obviously, you don't want to change the calculation right there, but the text around it can be changed, and also the color and any of the CSS can be changed in there as well. We can see below it's inserted to run everywhere, and you can add the conditional logic for this as well. So what you would do for that, if it wasn't already in the actual code snippet itself, you could actually come down here, click on enable. So actually, this is something interesting that I've skipped over, but WP Code also actually notices when there's things in the code as well, and will actually pick the code location based on that. So you can see it says it's changed it to front end conditional logic, not the run everywhere script, which is insertion method, which is fantastic. But yes, you could, for this to run, if you didn't have that in there, you'd be able to go enable logic, show, and then page URL contains, and then cart and whatever, and that will show on there. As you can see the code revisions right here as well. So you can, with code revisions, which is really cool, you can actually compare. I actually won't leave the page, but you can actually view and compare the snippets as they are. If I just click on update, actually, it will let me do that now, I think. Yeah. So we can see everything, and we can run through the different versions here as well. And if you want to go back to the editor, you go back to editor. But yeah, it's super simple to use once you've got the correct code in place, and you can actually see that working on the site. And like I said, you can do things like place them in different places and things like that. If I click on location here, you can be page specific, e-commerce specific. This is all included in WP Code Pro. So if you've got things where you want to insert things above products or in above certain places in the checkout and things like that, you can do that within WP Code. And also you've got other things like easy digital downloads and MemberPress as well covered in this as well. Okay, so that's that code snippet right there. Okay, so you've seen how I've just added a you've seen how I just added a free shipping banner. Anyone's got any questions? Just click over here. So Mark asked why 6 to 7 plugins. Well, basically, I'm going to show you this. The compounding effect of using WP Code is that you can actually add lots of different snippets. It can be built and customized around what your site is. And I do know of people using multiple plugins for just one feature, where you could actually use a code snippet in WP Code and manage multiple features within WP Code, where you would use multiple plugins just for those features. Christopher, the WP Code cost wouldn't really be zero, because these require pro version. Correct. Yeah, agreed with that. And also I will show you a breakdown of the cost of WP Code as well against some of these features. But in terms of this free shipping banner outcome, what this means for you, right? So adding things like the free shipping banner, being able to put it on specifically on the cart and showing it on the cart, but also being able to show it on checkout and things like that based on conditional logic. What it actually means for you as a business owner, and this can be used across multiple things. It doesn't have to be e-commerce. You could upsell on certain things as well. WP Code just gives you the control to be able to hide and show things in certain places to certain people. And when you're personalizing things to whether they're a user or not a user and things like that, you can get so specific on things, and you can get a better return on your investment in terms of what you do, what WP Code can actually offer you. But with adding a free shipping banner, basically what this actually means for you, more customers hit the free shipping thresholds. So I think on average, research says that adding a free shipping banner to your checkout or to your cart, basically means that you can increase your average order value from a minimum of $5. So times that by the amount of orders that you have, and you can then see the benefit of adding things like this in. So the higher average order value equals more profit per order, and you can save $100 plus in developer time, or skip a $49 a year plugin just for this one feature. Like I said, it's going to be multiple features that I show you. And you can test different messages easily with no code rework. So you can go in, basically change the messaging, and test out what works. So with this one snippet, and this is just an example, so I'm showing you examples that I can hopefully a bit more broad that people can understand. But with this one snippet, and think about all the thousands of snippets that are in the WP Code library and also out on the WP Beginner website. With this one snippet, you get big impact. So a developer custom banner logic is around roughly 1 to 2 hours, so about $100. This is included in WP Code cost. The business impact of this is you do a one-time setup and it's done in minutes. Cart notices plugin is $49 a year. You can replace this by using WP Code, and there'll be no ongoing plugin fees. And the increased order value, if we say the average order value is the average is $6 plus per order, and if you were doing 1,000 orders, well, then that's a 6,000 impact on your bottom line. 6,000 plus an increase on your bottom line. And updating or copy or design later, the typical cost for that is $50 to $100 per hour based on your developer. And you can make these changes instantly in WP Code. So you can save about $200 plus and gain a potential $6,000 in revenue just by using one snippet. And that's what I mean by like one snippet, one big impact. Okay, so next one. Personalization is pretty important for people that have membership websites and things like that. And being able to boost membership upgrades with an upsell offer is something that a lot of people would be interested in. And there are plugins out there that do this, obviously, but this can actually be done in WP Code in a very similar way to I showed you with the free shipping. And for this, what most people actually want is they want to show an upsell offer to logged in members only. Maybe there's a time restriction on this as well, so we could add that in as well. So there's, you only want to show an offer for this amount of time, and you want it to start on this date and end on this date. I'll show you how to do that in WP Code as well. Hide it from non-members or visitors, so it's not actually being shown to anyone that's not actually logged in or a certain type of member. And avoid installing yet another membership plugin or add-on. So adding more plugins, adding more things to manage. And you can make it an easy, and part of this is all, and part of all of this, what I'm showing you is we just want to make it easy to tweak and test. Like I said, you can turn these things on and off. These specific features that you might want on your site, you can turn them on or off with just a click with WP Code. Just to grab a drink. Okay, so with this one, I'll just show you how to add a membership upsell using WP Code. Use display rules so it only runs for certain users. Basically, I said subscriber here because I'm an admin on my site. I've just changed it to admin. But whatever user role you wanted, you can show it for that. We're using conditional logic. And then you can set visibility rules to only show on the dashboard or in the membership area using the insert rule. And then you can tweak the content and design with one click as well. So let's jump into our website. And we've got the membership upsell right here. So obviously we do add new again and add that in. But I'm just going to click on it to edit it to just show you what this looks like on the site, because hopefully by now you kind of get the idea of what how to actually add a code snippet on your website. So this is the membership upsell. So this is the bit of code that is currently running. And at the moment, I've got it inserted on site-wide footer. So at the bottom of the screen, and it's running on all device types, and its conditional logic is currently to be shown to administrators. So if I go back to the store, you'll be able to see this on the bottom of the screen right here. So you can see exclusive VIP offer, get 20% off your next upgrade, claim now. And there's a link in here where that would go to a landing page or something like that to that is basically for the offer that we're adding in here, or maybe an upgrade page for the membership as well. So for that code snippet, basically all I had to do was copy it, paste it in here, choose the insertion method. Like I said, if we click on this insertion method and we go page specific, I think we do it. So you can run it page specific, and then you can actually global. Yeah, page specific. And then basically you can run it. I've got confused here, sorry. Yeah. So run it everywhere. And then, yeah, if you wanted it to run on a specific page, sorry, you click on add new group, add a new condition here. So you could click on where page, type of page, page URL, and things like that. So you can add more a logic to that so that it can be on a specific page. Now I mentioned about running it at a certain time. So say if you've got this, whether it's any offer that you want to run on your site, and you've got a banner that's showing right here, which is basically what this is. You can see that it's got the CSS for the banner, you've got the actual text of the exclusive offer, and then you've got the link here, which you can use for the to link to any of your, like a landing page or something like that. Now, below the insertion right here, you can see schedule snippet. So this is where you can run these offers or between a certain time frame. So you can click on start date, pick a date, and then click on the end date and pick a date as well. What that means is that you can do things like add these offer banners and things like that on at specific times. You can schedule them beforehand, and you can just let it run, and you don't have to worry about it too much, which is another great feature of WP Code for this. And yeah, so stop sharing that. Okay, so let's just see if there are any questions. Cool. Okay, so the outcomes for these upsells basically is what this actually means for you is basically showing personalized offers based on user roles, which is super helpful to do. So if you are running a membership site, or even for specific customers and things like that, you can sell upgrades even inside free and lower tier plans. There's no plugin or developer needed, and you can A/B test upsell copy or timing. Like I said, it shows that. More lifetime value from the members you already had. And the upsell numbers here, well, basically, with all of this, and I will be giving out this slide as well so people can look at these as well at the end of this workshop, you can save around $200+ and gain a potential $480 in revenue if you are upgrading around 10 people per year at $48 each. So that's something that is really handy for people that run membership sites. So hopefully in this, I've just demonstrated that the power of using WP Code to kind of just add these small features in that have a big impact. So, okay, so now one of my favorite pro features is you get access to over 2,000 plus pre-built snippets ready to use, and it's all in the WP Code cloud in just one click. So what I showed you on WP Code just then, when I think you have access to 148 snippets with the free tier, once you connect to WP Codes within your dashboard, when you're in the pro tier, you'll then get 2,000 snippets that will be brought into your dashboard that you can search for and go through. Now I will bring up I will paste in the snippet library so that you can view it. Just grabbing it now. So with the cloud library, 2,000 curated tested snippets, a lot of plugin teams have contributed to this as well. So you can go through that and have a look at the library. So just copy the link, sorry. So that's the link to the WP Code snippet library. That's the 2,000 plus WordPress code snippets there for you to have a look at. And then basically with this cloud library, you can reuse your own snippets across all sites as well. So you can save snippets, you can add them to the library, and then if you've got multiple sites, you can actually use them on other sites as well. So if you've got tried and tested snippets that you use all the time, it's great for agencies because you can deploy to your favorite snippets across client installs, and it saves you. It's got massive time savings because basically if there's a snippet that you're looking for, it's probably in that cloud library already, and it's ready to go, and you can actually see within the library itself, how many people have used it, and the kind of star rating it gets, which I think is really useful for if you're just new to this and kind of looking for snippets. So that's definitely a massive bonus and a big part of WP Code Pro. So let's talk about let's talk about real numbers here. So across all the demos that I've showed you, with plugin replacements, developer time saved, and risk mistake avoidance, the cost would be around about $600, $700 roughly, from everything I've showed you. And we've seen that this can be taken care of, and specifically those features can be taken care of with adding snippets using WP Code and WP Code Pro for this example. So potential savings are just what I showed you, $600, $700 plus, just those ones. And one plugin, so one snippet can actually pay within this workshop. What I showed is basically one snippet can actually pay WP Code Pro 10 times. You know, free shipping banner, the gains could be 6,000 euro average order value, membership upsells, 480 a year in VIP upgrades or upsells in that way, accurate tracking, 600 euro on that, and multiple installs via the cloud. So you've hundreds saved in just your time, basically, in repeat work, copying and pasting these things over, setting everything up as it is. So all in all, that's over one plugin, basically, that's over 7,000-ish a year in growth with just the snippets I've showed you in this workshop. And those costs are just specifically to those features. If you can think about your site, imagine what you could be dialed in to your specific business website, basically. So the things that you need that you might be using plugins for already, that could be taken care of in WP Code Pro. So today, basically, what we're offering in this is basically $60 off of any WP Code plan. And if you're interested in getting all the snippets, instructions, access to the workshop and things like that, and these slides as well, type swag in the chat and I will send you all the information from this workshop. And click the link in the chat that I'm just going to post up now to be able to grab that offer for WP Code Pro. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so there's been a lot of chat going on. Sorry, I tried to get through that because I didn't want to keep everyone on the workshop for too long. So there's been lots going on in the chat. I can see a lot of people helping people out, which is fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Okay, a lot of people saying swag, fantastic. Yeah, we're going to send you all that information. I know it can be a lot, and that's why I was trying to get it in. Hopefully, you guys appreciated, and thank you for your patience with a couple of things. It's a live workshop, so sometimes things don't go quite to plan. So I do appreciate that. I love that so many people are putting swag in there, and they can get hold of some of these snippets we've been using in this workshop. And if anyone didn't see it, I did paste in the link to grab WP Code. If you want to grab that, I'll paste it in again. And we're going to go to the Q&A in a minute. Okay. And anyone just let me know, is there any snippet in particular you saw, or anything you saw today in this workshop that really piqued your interest. I'd be really interested in this. Obviously, we create lots of video content, lots of content on our website and things like that for you guys. So I'd be really interested to find out what kind of things in this workshop you guys really resonated with you guys. Any specific use case of WP code, or using code snippets in general, just let me know in the chat as well, because I'd love to see that whilst we go into the Q&A. So if you've got time, please drop it in. It'd be fantastic. I love that so many people have interacted in the chat, and so I'm going to try and answer as many of these questions as possible, and I'm just moving over to the Q&A section. So D asked, why do you use PHP snippets sometimes and HTML others? There are different types of coding language, shall I say, that code snippets come in. So sometimes they're HTML, just like the tracking pixel and other things as well. It just depends on the code that you're using. You'll also see that in WP code, if I just jump back into WP code, it is quite cool to actually show you this itself. So if I jump back into WP code and just to add another custom snippet. So basically these code snippets here, so you got HTML snippets for scripts and things like text snippets. So you can use this as like a text block. So you can create little text blocks and you can paste, you can put them anywhere on your site. Block snippet, so you can use the block editor to create components for your site, elements for your site. They can be, so these could be like sections of your site that you could create within WP code, and then you could have them placed anywhere. They can use things like images, any of the blocks that you can use on your using the block editor, you can use for this. CSS snippets, so this is for styling and things like that. So you can directly style things in WP code, and the PHP snippet is normally what a lot of code snippets come in. So those are the ones that use, like I said, if you do paste it into the code preview section here, WP code will actually figure out which one you're using, and it will change it here as well. And you can see there's a little magic icon here. You can actually use WP code to generate snippets using AI as well. But like I said, you always need to check these, and that's really important to kind of point out as well, is that if you're making any changes to your site using code snippets, one, I would actually say use a staging site if you can. If anyone doesn't know what a staging site is, you can usually get them. I think Hostinger and Bluehost offer staging sites as part of their packages, and they are a fantastic place because basically it does, a staging site copies your website, saves a copy of a website where you can actually make changes and upgrades and things like that before it goes live, without it being on the live site. So live site stays where it is and it's completely fine. So if you've got a store or something like that that's really critical that you don't change too much, then a staging site can be amazing for making changes, testing things out, breaking things without it actually breaking your main site. So if you haven't got a staging site set up for your site and you want to do these kind of things, I definitely do that. But also definitely back up your website as well, and make sure you're using something like Duplicator for that, just so that you make sure that you've got the security behind you of that site being a fully good working version of your site either saved to the cloud if you're using Duplicator Pro, or if you're at least if you're using Duplicator Lite version, you have a copy of that site. Maybe download it to your computer and save it on a hard drive or something like that. Let's go Q&A again. A lot of people asked, is this being recorded? So it is being recorded, just like every other workshop that we've done. This is being recorded, and you guys will get a copy of it, or you'll be able to see the replay, and you'll also be able to see the chat replay as well if you click on the link. So Han asked the question, how can I add a snippet that let me choose which pages I show in the menu on the desktop, tablet, or mobile? So you can do that by using the different device features within WP Code as well. You might be able to, I haven't searched the snippet library for it, but definitely search the snippet library on WP Code just to see if they've got anything in there for what you're talking about. And maybe a lot of these questions, there might be that as well. What's the difference between using WP Code and a child theme? Well, even with a child theme, if you decide to change your theme at all, you're going to lose your what you've put in your functions.php. And also WP Code just will be the constant for that. So whatever you change around that, WP Code and your code snippets are completely contained, managed, safe, and like I say, you can put as many snippets as you want in there. And if you want to deactivate a snippet, you can just deactivate it, and if you want to activate one, you can activate it. So almost in one way or another, like I said, you can A/B test. So you could have multiple snippets for the same thing with different slight tweaks. So that might be in design or in function or whatever, or placement, and you want to test them out. Well, the great thing about WP Code Pro, for example, is you can have multiple of those snippets already in your on WP Code, and you just turn one on, turn it off, turn the next one on, and then do that. Or you could actually do it as through a timeline. So basically you could schedule it for a certain period, and then the next one for a certain period, and then the next one for a certain period. So, if you're showing banners into certain members, or banners to certain customers, or to logged in users or visitors, or on certain pages, the world is your oyster when it comes to like testing things out with WP Code, because it's so powerful, having those snippets run on different schedules, or being able to just turn them on and off whenever you want. Imagine the cost for you, either in your time, if you had to keep on doing it, or employing hiring someone else to actually do that for you. Neil says, so hopefully I answered that in the cloud section, but Neil asked, if I had a set of, say, a dozen snippets I want to use on all my sites, is it possible to easily add them to each site? Yeah, it is completely. So I could show you how to do this in WP Code. So yeah, so if I go to, I'll just quickly show you this. So under code snippets here, so this is WP Code's, this is your list of snippets. In the sidebar over here, you'll be able to see library. If you just click on that, you'll be able to see, okay, we've got access to the snippet library from WP Code, but then you've got my library right here. And this site isn't currently connected to WP Code, but if you connect WP Code, then basically it would pull in your library where you'd be able to add other snippets to, so that you could share between site to site. Basically, they're all stored in the cloud. So once you've connected to your WP Code library and WP Code, then essentially any website you log into using your WP Code account, you'll have access to all those that library of snippets in the cloud. your own personal library. And is WP Code only for headers or footers? Is a version for coding in other areas on one's website, especially for e-commerce platforms? So you've probably seen in the walkthroughs that I showed you, basically that the locations can be e-commerce. WP Code sees what plugins you also have on your site, so it will know that you've got WooCommerce, Easy Downloads, MemberPress, or something like that, and it'll give you options for where you can use codes, what locations, and things like that as well. So Irina, is that Irina? Someone asked in the chat which plugins does WP Code replace. Well, there are lots of features. So if you have a look at the 2 resources that I provided a bit earlier with from WP Beginner, which were basically had full of snippets that you can use on your website, they'll give you some ideas of basically the plugins that can be replaced. But essentially, any plugin that kind of hides or shows something on WordPress, this is the superpower of WordPress, basically being customizable. Not a lot of people actually dig into this too much because they're not quite aware of what kind of snippets to use or how to use snippets and things like that. But there are a lot of resources out there which will give you information about what code snippets replace what features. I just demonstrate a few different things that you could use it for. Actually, one of the best things to do in this example is ask something like AI to what plugins could I replace with code snippets, and you'll get a whole list. I wouldn't be able to go through it in this workshop, but you'll get a whole list of ones that can be replaced, and then it's a matter of either finding a very good resource that will offer you those code snippets, check the library, snippets library in WP Code, or then do some testing. And someone said they get code snippets from AI. Well, that's perfectly fine. WP Code offers that feature built right in. But I would just test it on a staging site for your site if you were going to do things like that. But yeah, it really does depend on what you've got on your site and what you want to replace. But it replaces a lot of different plugins. And not just plugins for the front end, but also, based on admin, things that are in the admin dashboard. So if you want to hide things for, if you have clients and you want to hide things in the admin area and you don't want clients messing with things, if you're a web designer or and you have clients accessing sites, or you've got users that are editors and things like that on the site, and you don't want them to access other features and menu options in WordPress, then you can do that through WP Code as well. Neil said, you described 2 snippets that seem useful, but we didn't see, and I don't see them in the cloud library, the banner and customizing the login screen and logo. So those will be in the swag. So anyone that's interested in those ones, anything that I've been using in this workshop, they'll be in the swag. So you basically if you put swag into the chat, then I will basically send you a link to a Google Drive folder, basically, which will have the slides, the access to the workshop, and access to the workshop slides, the video course, and the document with all the different snippets on. Ian, is there a community code library? Yes, I do understand that they aren't vetted by WP Code. Yeah, so I believe that you can submit to the WP Code library if you have snippets that you absolutely love and that you think you would be beneficial to other people. Definitely, if there's things there that you are looking for, if there's any questions that you guys have about the code snippets that you can use on your site, or you you wonder if there's a feature that could be replaced, or if there's any advice. Also, the WP Code team are fantastic at this, like in terms of you sending them a message and them getting back to you about whether that's possible or not possible. And they'll probably be able to point you in the right direction, give you some real advice on what you can and can't do in terms of that. But also going back to sharing community code, definitely I think there is a way of doing that with the code library. I haven't done it personally, so I couldn't say if it's you submit through the dashboard or whether you go on to wpcode.com and submit. If anyone does know, drop it in the chat. Okay, so for the for the question, so can you use the same WP Code Lite or Pro subscription for staging environment, or do you need to buy another one? So WP Code Pro is a you just need the one license. Basically, you don't need any more licenses for staging or anything like that. What if you, Kim's asked, what if you use a different code snippet plugin? Can the snippets in WP Code library still be used, or are they specific WP Code plugin? So that's a really good question. Code snippets essentially can be used in any platform. What I would say is no other that I found personally, no other code snippets plugin does what WP Code does straight out of the box, and gives you so much about around versatility, usability, being easy to use, and also the safety points of, it actually checks the code and will tell you if it's missing anything, and also it will allow you to turn it off really quickly, and you've got version control and things like that when you go into Pro, which is really essential if you're like testing things out and continuously tweaking things. Version control is a massive, especially if you've got multiple people using the site as well, and you're like, hold on a minute, that code snippet doesn't work quite right. What happened? I didn't touch it. You can see who edited it or what changed on with that as well. Question from David. If I'm a developer and I wish to use this on client sites, is there a developer license option? That's a very good question. Let me just hop on. I think the structure of WP Code's pricing allows you to have multiple sites under so basically the basic plan will get you one site, and everything above it is 5 sites, 25 sites, or 100 sites. So the best deal bundle basically gets you up to 100 sites. So depending on how many client sites you've got, Pro might be a good option, but definitely you can, as a developer, I would definitely say WP Code's probably actually a superpower that you can acquire really, really quickly, and for its cost price, like in terms of its price point, it is a fantastic plugin to use on your site, regardless of whether you're a developer or not. If you own a site, it saves you so much time, saves you so much money. You can test multiple things without having to get a developer involved, but also just gain so much in terms of what you can do in terms of funnels and sales and things like that as well. Okay, chat. Okay, let's have a look what people have. Codes to improve and convert more sales on e-commerce platforms. That's definitely what we can do. Great overview of Snippet well from a newbie. Thanks. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Sorry, some of them was a bit skipping between tabs. It was that was an experience. And Andre, I like membership upsell value snippet. Yeah, I think that's a really good one as well. I tried to, like I said, I tried to make it broad because sometimes you can make these a little bit too specific and people don't quite get it. But I was trying to make them as broad and kind of show real value that you can get out of it as well. But also there's a ton of snippets that work in the background that don't have any fancy visual or anything like that that give you so much value. Neil, I would like to find an easy way to have multiple levels of admin. So a super admin would see all modules, but a client admin would see a subset. I believe, Neil. So what I would do, Neil, is actually reach out to WP Code team on that one, because I reckon they'll be really up for giving you information on that, and they'll probably give you the best possible way to do it in the quickest amount of time as well. I think that's something that's definitely can be done. Buzz, is there a snippet that would hide the site URL in the link, such as? Very good question. It'd be interesting to understand, Buzz, why you want to hide the site URL in the links for, and what the use case for that is. Is there a lifetime pricing option? No, I don't believe there is. Can you use the same WP Code like? Okay, I've already answered that one. And yeah, I think that's all the questions. Andre, does WP Code have a discount price for non-profit organizations? Contact the team if you don't mind. I don't think I can answer that one on here. I don't actually know, so it'd be best to contact the team for that one and see what they say about that. But regardless of that, I mean, the pricing in terms of what you're getting with the actual deal as well and discount, I mean, it's really great value for what you're getting. But yeah, no, definitely contact the team for that one. Okay, so I think that's all the questions. I will just post that link one more time just in case anybody wants it, and so nobody has to wait for swag or anything like that. If you've stuck around to this time and you're here right now and you're listening to this, you don't have to wait until the swag to get access to the full course on WP Code, completely free course that we did for WP Code on WP Beginner. I think I've just copied that into the wrong section. I'll paste it into the chat. Yeah. So I've just pasted the code, the link to the course and the link to the WP Code if you want to get a discount. Yeah, so I super appreciate everyone for joining us. It's been fantastic to have so many people join, and hopefully you've learned something new about code snippets or how to use code snippets or about WP Code. And let me know in the chat if you're still here and you found it helpful. That'd be great for me to figure out and find out. And yeah, we will be doing another one of these workshops in the near future, and we will let you know through email what that's going to be. I believe, a bit of a teaser, it's on automating your WordPress site. I'm currently working on it right now, so if you're interested in doing things automatically or making your WordPress site work for you, I believe the next one is going to be on website automation. So it could go well hand in hand with what you've seen today. And yeah, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one. And hopefully you enjoy the course and all the swag that we send you your way. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.